People are picking teams based on my jersey, so
All right, and welcome to the first Inside MLFB live stream of the season. We're here getting ready. The Jamboree kicks off in 30 minutes. We've got the SGPN beat reporter crew here. Guys, we have football happening tonight. Everyone
in
thinks it
30
starts
minutes.
in a week, but it starts tonight. How's everybody feeling?
I mean, it's football.
I'm
Ecstatic.
excited.
All in on it. This is great.
Long anticipated.
Long anticipated. There we go. So we'll just kind of go around the horn. Everybody talk a little bit about your teams and everything. Matthew, how you feeling about the Armada? Talk to us. What are you seeing? What are you watching? What do you want to see tonight?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm excited about is just watching the sort of offense that their team's going to be running. I mean, one of the things their head coach and longtime and the offensive coordinator as well, he's run multiple offenses. He's run option-heavy offenses. He's a disciple of Bill Walsh, so there's that West Coast offensive influence. So I'm interested. And they have a lot of very multifaceted players lining up at quarterback, obviously with Fulford, from Mount Union being one of them. But a lot of those players can run and pass, so I'll be interested to see the sort of run-pass options that are going to be run by that offense. Interested in seeing that. And the other thing that the Armada have that I'm really fascinated is, some of those skill wide receivers. They just have a bunch of guys who all had really solid collegiate careers and all have pretty good size, maybe not elite speed, but, you really do go down that roster. And, for me, someone like Melvin Vaughn from Old Dominion University really stuck out. Guy who can be used, I think, just as an offensive weapon. 6'2", 233 pounds, big guy, big target for quarterbacks in the red zone, looking to move the chains. So just interested to see how they're going to use some of these different pieces on offense tonight.
I mean, and there was a whole lot going on while I was at camp. The offense was very multiple. They were doing a whole lot, and it looked like they were trying to get out and they were moving. Lots of people, there's a lot being made of the 25-second play clock where things are going to be moving, which is going to have the offenses moving at that pace and at that tempo. And they were definitely working to get Fields and Fulford those work in space, but don't count out George Bowens. George got out in space a few times and just absolutely, I mean, you weren't expecting him to get that many yards, but he had like deceptive Ryan Fitzpatrick speed out there on the edge. So Chase, What are you looking for with the attack tonight?
I want to see just this massive collection of dynamite players at the skill positions and kind of see who maybe rises to the top. There's a trio of wide receivers that I all think could just be excellent in the MLFB, starting with Akil Greer from St. Augustine, who, if the ball is in the air, it's his. He can just go up and get it and take it away. And then bookending on the opposite side of the formation, he's probably going to have Jamari Hester, 6'6", 205, another player that looks like, could just be dangerous in the passing attack. You got Damon Sheehy Giuseppe, which is easily the funnest name to say in the MLFB. There's not a lot of information from him in college, and then he just pops up, on the Sports Center top 10, returning a punt for a touchdown in NFL preseason. It's going to be a good team. Quarterback play, Jaylen Jones, Keel Greer's teammate. His highlight tape is another one that really pops. He looks really dangerous in the RPO game. You talk to him and he tells you he wants to be a pass-first sort of quarterback. But if things break down, he can most definitely use those legs. So he's going to be dangerous in the RPO game. They're really strong up the middle with the offensive line. Local kid, went to the same high school as me here in Arkansas. Jaden Sally, a proud North Little Rock High School charging Wildcat. Great footwork, great pulling guard. And on defense, my Lord, Alexis Ramos. Remember that name. Everyone say it with me. Alexis Ramos. This guy's pressure personified. A big fish, small pond kind of situation where he's your prototypical edge rusher, maybe a little bit undersized, and that's why he's gotten passed over before. But I think people are going to know the name after this season.
I mean, and just talking about that attack offense, you brought up Sheehy Giuseppe, and he was all over the field making plays. He got the ball in his hands in space, and he made stuff happen. Keel Greer, definitely that contested catches, but also at quarterback, you've got Lucas O'Connor, who had just a masterful command of the offense from day one. He looked sharp. He looked crisp in the short and intermediate game. But, boy, let me tell you, that defense got out and beat up on that offense at times, and it was scary to see. There was just so much pressure. And I'm really excited to see what it looks like going against another team with that defensive line. I really think that could be a big thing coming together. So we'll head on down. We'll go up to Marcus Anderson covering the Ohio Force. Marcus, what you looking for tonight, man?
Well, the main thing I'm looking forward to with this Ohio team is the rushing attack, this running game. Because I expect this offense to be like a true Big Ten offense. I mean, with Bill Connelly being the head coach from Ohio State, and then also with this offensive coordinator on Mitch Brown. I did a lot of background information on Mitch Browning, the offensive coordinator. I mean, knowing that he was once patrolled one of the best rushing attacks in all of the country back in the early 2000s, the Minnesota Gophers, back when they had Marion Barber, Lawrence Maroney, and also that was just the best rushing attack in the country at the time. And also with these two guys, he's going to have sharing carries with Christian Turner and Demario McCall. Demario McCall is more of like a multi-talented back. He could come out the backfield, catch a couple passes, run some real routes, and he also got elusiveness and quickness, and also score a lot of touchdowns. Even though he didn't get a lot of time at Ohio State, a 5-star All-American coming out of high school, and the only time he had PT he had was like in garbage time when the team was like up at 30 points or more. And also the quarterback Nick Watson from Tiffin, and also he's another dual threat quarterback. I expect this once again be a Big Ten offense, a true Big Ten offense with a dual threat quarterback like Nick Watson. Score like 33 touchdowns through the air and then 27 on the ground. Bill Connelly might make him his Troy Smith of this Ohio Force offense. And also the defensive side, the linebacking core might be the best in all of Major League Football. And unfortunately, we won't see Aaron Tiller tonight. I was looking forward to see him. He was a pass rush specialist over at Southwestern State. I mean, especially seeing this game film against Georgia, 1 sack and a couple tackles. I mean, he also back in college, he had this Dwight Freeney like spin move that worked every time. It worked to perfection. But we will see Terry Whittington, who is great length for outside linebacker, great vert, and also a great pass rusher as Aaron Tiller. And also the two men in the middle, Tristan Vance, and also Tavante Beckett, which is, like I said, might be the best linebacker core in all Major League Football. And also, I expect what Bill Connelly is building here is resembling the football you see down in Columbus during Saturdays in the fall, Ohio State football. And I expect that tonight.
Oh, yeah. Bill Connelly and Mitch Browning both have that team humming, and you talked about Nick Watson there, and he's looked good. Also, Connor Cagey looked very good. And although Mitch Browning, known for that rushing attack with Minnesota, the thing I heard Mitch Browning say over and over and over again when I was talking to him was, we're going to throw the ball more. We need to throw the ball more. We have these weapons. We have these guys. We need to push it, So with two quarterbacks like that, and you got NFL talent out wide with a guy like Alonzo Russell, that's just huge. Alonzo Russell, spring football veteran, NFL veteran, big physical guy. And he was someone who was out there, working routes with the younger guys after forced practice ended. It was like 9:30 on like the second day of camp, and Alonzo Russell's out there working routes with the young guys. So that was really good to see. And now we're going to take it down to the coast with our host city, Savannah, covering the airborne Savannah. What are you looking for out of Alabama tonight?
So I think what everyone else is looking out for is our defense, because, I mean, we have Coach Glanville, and who better to have as a defensive coach than Jerry Glanville. But I'm also looking forward to our offense. I think they're very underestimated with the talent that we have. And I think the scariest part of the airborne is the versatility. So we have a lot of guys in every position that can easily fill a different role. Coach needs them somewhere else, they're there. I've said it before, EJ Labaz, he is a very versatile player. He said he can run different things. He can do whatever the coach tells him. He can be where he needs to be. And I think that's what's we have someone at all times. So if something happens, if they get hurt, we have a backup and another and another and another. And they're all talented. I don't know. I'm excited to see the lineup. I'm excited to see how they play together. Because of course they're all talented, but I want to see them as a team. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to training camp, so I'm ready to actually see them on the field with each other. I mean, we've been watching all their film separate, and I'm seeing how they play with their teammates. I don't know how they play with people. We have Prince Iwara from the NFL. We have people from USFL, CFL, XFL. We have people from all levels of football coming out to play. And I just think it's going to be really exciting to see how they play together and how they can help each other. And I mean, we have Jimmy Robinson. He can run a 4.28. Like, that is unreal. And we have a lot of speed. We have a lot of size. More speed than size, I will say. But I'm really excited to see how our offense plays out. We've been hearing a lot of buzz about the defense, but I'm pretty pumped up to see the offense.
You actually have the player that I'm most excited to see in action in the MLFB is Tavis Taylor from not that Notre Dame in Ohio, who racked up, what is it? I want to say 1,013 yards and 12 touchdowns in 5 games. I want to see this dude. He's
not even a full season. Yeah.
He was a humpback whale in a kiddie pool. Now let's see what he does in the big leagues.
Yeah, we have a lot of talent.
Yeah, Savannah, you're definitely right about your defense. It's definitely someone to look out for, especially with Jerry Glanville. You know, his reputation he had during his time in the NFL with the Great Lakes defense, the Falcons, and also his time with the Oilers, the House of Pain, and that 91 Falcons team. He definitely built a great reputation, a defensive mastermind. So definitely your defense is definitely one to look out for.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know Glanville talked about it all last week at practice. He was making mention of he wanted more intensity every day. And granted, I didn't get to see any padded practices, but I understood that the guys have strapped it up the last couple of days. So we'll see how they do today. Full pads. These aren't your teammates now, so you're a little less worried about hurting them. So we'll see what the intensity looked like tonight, especially, Savannah, what kind of crowd do you think we're going to see down there in Mobile in person for this?
I've gone back and forth with this, but there's nothing that Alabama as a state loves more than football. And I mean that. It's like football, sweet tea, everything else under. Like, we love football. We don't care if it's a peewee team. We're going to be there. We're going to be in that stadium. We're going to get us a hot dog and we're going to watch the game. But I think because of all of these names and how much we're actually getting the word out there, I think it's going to surprise us. Honestly, I think what we're expecting, I think it's going to be higher than that. We love football. Who doesn't?
I mean, I don't know that everyone was expecting anybody to show up to the Jamboree, but they must have had enough interest coming because they went all out. They were getting food trucks. They were going the whole 9 yards trying to get folks in. And I don't know, it just seems like they're all aboard this train here. Who doesn't want to see all this stuff happening?
Our local news station too, they're eating it up. They're broadcasting it.
Well, they get to talk to Jerry Glanville, so
yeah.
I'd eat it up too if I got to talk to Jerry Glanville every day.
Send me.
But it's a great, what makes it so exciting is it's such a great combination of things. Savannah talked about it. Marcus talked about it. Players from the NFL who have that experience, who have some of that name recognition, mixed with kids who are coming in from smaller schools who may just have gotten overlooked. There are a bunch of players on the Armada, a couple of teammates actually coming out of Division II Shadron State, who are both wide receivers and both pretty good ball players. And so it's an opportunity for them to get some visibility, for them to develop. And so it's exciting to see players that the casual fan might actually remember. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I grew up in that area. And the player Elijah Qualls, who was on the Super Bowl champion team for the Eagles, is actually a defensive tackle for the Armada. So, there are some of that name recognition that you get, the casual fan is excited about, but then you get to see these kids develop, and that's really the name of the game. And that's one of the things I'm excited about to see with this Armada coaching staff. This Armada coaching staff has a lot of Division II small school experience where development is the name of the game. They're not getting 5-star, 4-star recruits coming in. They're getting these kids who have been overlooked and they develop them into pro-ready prospects. That's one of the things that really amazed me about defensive coordinator Dennis Crehan is how much he's been able to turn small school players into NFL prospects. And so that's something I'm really excited to see just over the span of the season, how they're able to progress and mature and get better from game 1 to game 4.
Yeah, it was encouraging seeing the amount of small school players who were on these rosters, especially when you consider looking at the USFL, how much of a premium that they put on pro experience. So you saw a lot of players who had spent a couple of years on the practice squad. Now you're seeing people who are coming out fresh from college who are coming in to put, things on tape and just kind of keep the dream alive. So yeah, I love the small school element of these guys actually getting out there and getting their shot.
Mhm.
I mean, and we've just seen it top to bottom. Like the small school guys have been balling out. They've talked about it time and again, how they're excited to show show what they can do against bigger D1 talent, NFL caliber guys. And that's really, the biggest thing is like you have all these teams, you have all these players coming together, and it's now a good measuring stick because you have NFL talent like Prince Aroa. I think I always butcher that one. It's just a few too many odd syllables in there. Alonzo Russell, you have NFL caliber guys on the field. So you get to say, okay, can this guy do it against NFL competition? And that's what these guys are all real excited for. It's what they've been excited for top to bottom.
Yeah, and the coaching staff brings – I'm sorry, Savannah, go ahead.
No, I'll be quick. And we know that Chase Forcade actually plays very top level when he's playing up. If he's playing a team and he sees a challenge, he takes it and he runs with it, literally. So, I mean, I'm excited to see how he plays playing up to these other guys and these hot shots that you guys also have.
Yeah, and I was just going to say it's going to be interesting. A guy like D'Angelo Fulford, who's a quarterback for the Armada, 27-0 regular season quarterback in his college career, never lost a game for a Division III powerhouse Mount Union, and was just, an offensive player of the year every year he was a starter. And so it's going to be interesting to see kind of how does he step up to go against some of these bigger time players, and the coaching staffs across the board have NFL experience. So they know what they need to see too. They know what is necessary to get these guys to that next level. And that's what these kids are looking for is tell me what to do to get to that next level. And those guys who take the coaching, they're going to be the ones who really produce and develop the best.
But the other thing is we do have some younger coaches who are getting that first shot, or coaches who have been passed over too. We talked about the attack earlier. We've got Ernest Wilson, head coach, perennial guy working at smaller schools, and he's getting an opportunity, and he's really had a chance to showcase what he knows and putting in a familiar air raid scheme for all of these quarterbacks. Chase, you got anything you're thinking about or want to add there?
Well, I mean, if you look back at Ernest Wilson's history, is how well he has done in brand new professional football leagues. I'm thinking specifically of like the indoor football league and was it AF2, which was the arena football league. Like he has the experience of being not only the coach, but also the general manager of these squads and putting together teams that have made the playoffs at that level. Just the coaching staff as a whole, development, great developers of players. Darius Bell. Oh man, Darius Bell is a coaching superstar in the making, in my opinion, with their defensive coordinator, who has turned some defensive backs into just all conference performers at UTEP and other schools. And then Bernard Holsey, the defensive line coach. Not a lot of coaching info on him, but that's because he's been the head coach of a high school team in Wisconsin. I had to do some digging, but I found that this team had not put anybody into college ball for about 12 years. And then Bernard Holsey took over and then started getting teams into, different Division II, Division III teams. A couple, was it Whitewater, Wisconsin Whitewater, which is usually a Division III powerhouse, but started, a team that also hadn't won for a couple of years. And I think they just came off of like a, playoff appearance and 10-win plus season. So a really impressive guy and really impressive developers with Arkansas Tech.
Yeah, for sure. Matt, anything you're looking to see out of the defensive staff there in Virginia? I mean, I know you talked about the offensive staff. What about on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, one of the things I'm excited about is the defensive staff really likes to use kind of multiple players that can play multiple positions. And so, and to kind of constitute players who can be a little bit of rovers. So I'm thinking in particular, a player like MJ Hampton, who's a safety, but also has played some inside linebacker experience, played for actually the defensive backs coach when they overlapped during his time at James Madison. And this was a James Madison team that won the FCS title that year that he was playing there. So, huge, really a big time player. And, it seems like a player who is best used in that rover position, kind of can freelance, can figure things out. So I'm interested to see how they deploy some of this defensive talent. Another player like Alex Thomas, very interested to see, is he a safety? Is he a corner? He was a lockdown corner in college, but he is a little bit longer, and he might be able to, again, play multiple positions in that secondary, or certainly allow them to disguise some coverages on the back end. So excited to see how they do this. And then more than anything, I'm interested in, they have such a strong, I think they have a pretty strong defensive line with a lot of experience. I mentioned Elijah Qualls earlier, but they have other really nice players. Shaki Holiness is a player that I'm excited to see. Savion Williams is another player I'm excited to see there. And so it's going to be, how do you generate pressure with just the front four? Or do you have to commit additional rushers to generate pressure on the quarterback? So traditionally, that defensive staff likes to just generate pressure with the front four, let them set the edge in the run game as well. So I'll be interested to see how much they have to deviate from that potentially to generate a pass rush.
All right. So we heard about that. Marcus, anything else you think we should be looking for out of the force tonight? I mean, we talked about the offense. We talked about the defense. Any deep cuts that you're hoping to see happen on the field for Ohio?
Oh, yeah, also the receiving core of the Ohio Force, like K'Wan Ross and also Des Stewart, and also he was a Biletnikoff Award finalist back in 2007 out of Toledo. I forgot his name, can't recall, but overall the receiving core of this Ohio Force team, it's a dynamic receiving core, especially Des Stewart, who was like a two-time Conference All-American out down in Old Dominican University, where Bill Connolly was the head coach during that time as well, and made him an All-American. And he's real dynamic, return kicks, and is real dynamic, especially after the catch, made plenty of catches. A dynamic receiver overall, but also K'Wan Ross also has some time in the NFL, some time in SEC football with Kentucky, and a very tall receiver, almost like a Plaxico Burress. He even was transferred to the tight end position in the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals, even though he was just on the practice squad. Same with Des Stewart, but also very dynamic route runners, and they're very dynamic possession receivers. And overall, the pass attack, like you mentioned earlier, Adam, Mitch Brown is already playing on that. We got to throw the ball more, and we just got to throw the ball more. And also, overall, I'm just looking forward to this offense. I'm pretty much just going to be a dynamic offense, an explosive offense, and defenses should be looking out for this Ohio Force offense pretty much.
Yeah. So just in case anybody missed it, so what this is going to be, it's going to be 10 plays for the offense against the set defense. So we'll see who we got starting off, but you're going to go 10, 10, 10, 10. Then you're going to switch. You're going to do it again. So you're going to have every offense going against every defense. So we're going to have 30 offensive and defensive plays per team to close out, and some special teams reps in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work in. It'll be particularly interesting to watch some of these rotations. I know everybody here is going to be paying attention and going to have, something out after this later tonight just to talk about what we saw. Guys, all you guys are local. What's the buzz like in your cities around these teams? What are folks saying? Are you starting to hear some stuff about this? What's going on locally?
I feel like I could say the streets are bubbling, but I also rarely leave my home or see the sun. So no, it's on the old Twitter sphere, on the Twitter machines. I see a lot of local people who are getting fired up. I also see even people who are in like the Memphis area, not necessarily right here, located in Central Arkansas, that are pretty excited about the Arkansas attack. You have to consider that the University of Arkansas has taken, we used to get 3 games at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock every year, and they used to be really good football games. And now we get one really just kind of shitty one each season.
You don't even get one this year, do you? Didn't they say they weren't playing this year in Little Rock?
Probably. It breaks my heart.
Chase looks really sad now. This is the sad Chase meme that comes out of this broadcast.
No, but I'll say,
Chase.
for the Virginia team, I'll say, I've had people reaching out to me on social media from down in that Williamsburg, Tidewater area who are interested in learning more information, who are contacting me about players they're excited about, and contacting me about, opportunities to go to the stadium, things like that, like where they can get tickets and that sort of thing. So definitely there's a buzz on social media, and that Virginia Tidewater area, Williamsburg, is known for producing a lot of athletic talent, whether that is Michael Vick, whether that is Allen Iverson. That is an area that is rich with talent. And so there's a lot of excitement about any type of sports in that area. So just going to be excited to get down there for coverage, get out of the DC Beltway and get down there to a better place.
I'm just imagining people from Colonial Williamsburg tweeting at you. How dare ye say that?
Yeah.
Do they have to send the tweet via carrier pigeon to Twitter headquarters?
Exactly.
I'm envisioning this
tweet machine.
Savannah, what about you? What are you seeing?
I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. They're just like football, whatever it is. And it's like, it's not even just the Mobile area. It's all of the states, somebody from anywhere that doesn't even, it could be up in Huntsville, and they're just like, so what's this league about? Is it actually happening? Is it, kind of the discrepancies people have about semi-professional, but now that they see it's actually happening, we have a scrimmage tonight. We're about to play our first game. Everyone is hyped. And even if they don't have loyalty to a certain team, I saw people on Twitter that were picking out by colors of jerseys just because they want to be a part of it. And things like that. So I think everyone's just getting excited for this league because it's actually taking flight. Let's fly, Airborne. I've said that in there.
So Marcus, take us through this, and they're starting early. They're getting us going already.
Yeah,
we got the force in the attack on the field, the force offense against the attack defense. So Marcus,
definitely. Once I put out the schedule, I had so many people tweeting me about where they're playing, where can I get tickets at. I had so many tweets about that. And also, this is absolutely a football town. Maybe more than Alabama, but this is definitely a football town, home of the Dog Pound, home of the Horseshoe. We probably countless numbers of players in the NFL still playing right now, from Marshall Lattimore, Akeem Talib, Ted Ginn, and also even Hall of Famers like Charles Woodson, Fremont, Ohio. So, yeah, without question, this is probably one of the biggest football towns in all the nation.
All right, awesome. Well, y'all, excited to do this. We're going to let everybody go here so everybody can focus in on the stream. We'll have reaction from all these guys in written form later tonight. Only big news coming up. We've been told, we're hearing that there should be an announcement very soon about a broadcast deal. So everybody, fingers crossed that comes through in the near future. Everyone enjoy the scrimmage, and thanks for tuning in.